from one state and series of bizarre orders to another state and a controversial policy. The Madhya Pradesh government issued an order. Essentially, the order was to spread awareness, to encourage and to push people to get fully vaccinated. But what it also ends up doing is indicate mandatory vaccination to collect ration. For people to be able to take benefit of the government welfare schemes in our country, there is no rule that makes vaccination mandatory at the central level. Vaccination itself is not compulsory. It's voluntary, by choice. But now we are seeing in multiple places, and this is the most latest example, orders being issued that are linking government welfare and welfare schemes and benefits which are rightfully belonging to the poor people in our country, linking them to this vaccination. The order I'm referring to is from November 8th, and it's the order that's been issued by the Food Supplies Ministry Department in Madhya Pradesh, which says, firstly, it talks about how you should display vaccination info, awareness information at shops, at the ration shops, to spread awareness amongst people who are coming there. Then it says that the shopkeepers should actually collect details, name, address, family details of the people who've not taken a vaccine. It actually says that you note down the addresses of people who've not taken the vaccine such that there can be a follow-up and those people can be given the jabs. You should then send these records of these people to the nearby hospital. This is an order from the government to the ration shops and says that you tell people, inform the people that double dose will be mandatory for getting ration. Now, the wording is a little complicated, so we are not too sure if they're saying it is already mandatory and if you don't show your double shot vaccination certificate, you won't go get ration, or you are threatening people and scaring people into saying, get your vaccine or you will not get ration. Either which ways, this is not correct and it's not acceptable. Now, in Madhya Pradesh, still a large percentage of the population is yet to get its second dose or even the first dose. So for us to bring out this order could effectively mean that a lot of people may end up not getting the benefits of the government welfare schemes, which is their right. The data is on your screens. This isn't the only place, by the way. In Maharashtra also, reportedly in Aurangabad, they have issued similar orders to avail your ration and fuel benefits. You must show your vaccine certificate. And which is why, to me, this is becoming a dangerous trend. Let's talk about it. I say good evening to Dr. Gulrez Sheikh of the BJP, Ravi Srivastava, Professor of Economics at JNU, currently Director for the Center for Employment Studies, the Institute for Human Development in Delhi. Sanket Yanagi, Congress leader, joins me this evening. And also Nikhil Dey, social activist, with me this evening. Let me start off with Gulrez Sheikh for some understanding on what's the idea here, Dr. Sheikh.
Tanvi, the idea is simple, and I am proud of that idea that we want to protect the people of Madhya Pradesh. Let it be anybody, and let me make it very clear that it is not just applicable for the government benefit schemes, but also for the malls. Even yesterday, I went to mall and I had to show my vaccination certificate before I entered. So it is for everybody, and it must be followed upon. And let me tell you one thing: you are asking about the law, so don't forget that Mahamari Adhiniyam, that Mahamari Act gives power to the state government as well as the union government to take such steps to avoid any kind of one certain situation like Corona second wave we faced. And since these vaccines are free of cost, there is no shortage of vaccines. Still, if people doesn't want to vaccinate themselves, so they are risking not only their lives but as well as others' lives. So we can't permit it.
But Dr. Gulrez, surely, I'm a little disturbed by this analogy that you've given me. Surely, a scheme by the government, which is to ensure that poor people don't go hungry in our country, which is a scheme to talk about rations, especially in times of Mahamari, as you say, where jobs are uncertain, people have lost businesses, lost jobs, lost their livelihood. And so the government's responsibility is to give them food to eat such that they don't go hungry. That can't be compared to an entry into a mall. Don't go to a mall if you don't have a vaccine. Shop elsewhere. How are you comparing a luxury, something which is a luxury of going to a fancy air-conditioned mall and shopping there of your favorite brands, to saying no to giving food to people in our country?
Still, in most of the countries around the world, getting a vaccine is a luxury, and government of India and government of Madhya Pradesh is distributing free of cost jabs. Still, if people don't get it, then we have to make certain some things that if you don't want to get it, it's okay, but you can't affect others, and you can't affect the state. Your life is also important, as well as others' life is important. If you get COVID positive, you are definitely going to make others also positive. You are going to spread the disease. So for the welfare of the general people, we have to take steps, and we are doing it.
So tell me, have you put these restrictions in the for the entry of your temples?
You will find everything to be done.
To be done. Okay. Fair enough, because when it comes to people's astha, let's not talk about the vaccine, but when it comes to poor people and feeding them food, which is a government welfare scheme, let's do it. Let me point out to you, since you think it's all legal and it's all correct.
Even for big people, even for rich people, that is the same criteria we are following. Even for schools, we have made it mandatory.
Please follow whatever criteria you want for people who can afford to buy their own food. That's not the category I'm talking to you about at all. Let me also point this fact out to you, Dr. Gulrez Sheikh. Let me also point out this fact to you, that even when it comes to Aadhaar, the Supreme Court has very clearly stated that no government establishment can refuse a welfare scheme for want of a Aadhaar card. It's a very clear indication that the Supreme Court has given. So you may believe that you are legally right here, but soon if this lands up in court, you will know you're not. Sanket Yanagi, is there a fair way to do things? Because I see more and more governments and states resorting to it. In Maharashtra, they have implemented similar circulars in Aurangabad, we are told, and the government is considering taking it up in other places of Maharashtra as well.
The way food is important, the way oxygen is important, food is also equally important. And it's a basic need of a human being. One cannot, in the guise of regulating, withhold oxygen in as much as withhold the food or a ration kit. And now it is the duty of the state to see to it that there should not be any hurdle in continuation of supply of oxygen in as much as the food. Food, water, in as much as the oxygen are the basic essentials which cannot be blocked at any point of time, either by the state or by any individual. It's a rule of law. And more so, the intention of the state would be to see to it that everyone should be vaccinated and the corona should be brought under control. But this is not the way wherein they can think of by regulating or restricting someone's food or shelter. And that is not the way which is permissible under law. Right to life includes right to have a clean air, right to have a clean water, right to have a food. Food is not the right of or a privilege of the state to be restricted at any point of time whenever they wish to regulate or to harm twist anyone. And they may be having an intention maybe to see to it that everyone gets vaccinated at an appropriate point, and for which reason they can block the luxury. And those especially seeking for the ration from the state are always the poor people most of the time.
But the same, Mr. Yanagi, the same is happening in Maharashtra as well, where the Congress is in alliance with Shiv Sena as well as the NCP, and they are openly doing this in Aurangabad, we are told, and considering implementing it elsewhere, saying that you will only get your ration and your fuel benefits provided you show your vaccine certificate.
In my opinion, even to that extent, our own government could be. It is not said to be legally valid. I admit. I would say that. Let us be legally correct.
You are saying it is not legally valid. Now let's try and understand why it's a big problem, policy-wise. And I want to go across to Mr. Srivastava on this, Mr. Srivastava. We have one example where the courts have spoken about it, and they said, for want of an Aadhaar, you can't say no to a government welfare scheme benefit being given to people. It is their right. I mean, what other option do the poor people have? Are we going to threaten and blackmail them into doing something?
Absolutely right, Tanvi. Actually, less than 6 months ago, the Supreme Court, I think it was on June 29th, gave a very powerful judgment, the one that you referred to, and it said that people cannot be denied their right to food, their right to rations, just because they are not registered with the government, because they don't have an Aadhaar card. And it is for the government, the state government and the union government, to find ways and means of not only registering them, but for ensuring that their right to food their entitlement to food is conserved. This entire line of reasoning, whether it is in X government or Y government, runs against that complete grain. You know, we are still in the throes of the pandemic. There is still a great deal of distress. People are still suffering from hunger. They've continued. There's chronic hunger. There is acute hunger. And the right to food, which was enshrined through the NFSA in 2013, continues to be a centrally legislated act. No government, no administration has the right to deny food, to deny them this right under the garb of this or that other motive, the beneficiary motive. The fact of the basic fact is actually, Tanvi, that our governments have inherited a colonial mindset, a my-bap mindset, where they think that they're doing things for poor people, you know, welfare. Actually, that's not the case. The government collects taxes and uses this for public good. It is accountable for the people for the use that it makes of the money, whether it is through free vaccines or providing them with rations, subsidized rations. And the right to food is a human right. It is a right, it is enshrined in our constitution in more ways than one. It is a right, it is an international obligation. And to use the fact that people have not been vaccinated or should be vaccinated as an excuse to deny people the right to food is actually a horrendous line of reasoning. Whether it is followed by a bureaucrat at a district level, I mean, this has happened in Karnataka, this has happened in Maharashtra, or followed by governments in one state or another state. This really speaks of a colonial mindset.
Yes.
We need to encourage people, both rich and poor, but we do not need to stigmatize the poor. And this is the point that you made repeatedly, you know, the point which I think one of the panelists has tried to rebut, but it's not true. The rich people have a lot of choices, and it's not an issue of human rights for them. What is being done is to stigmatize the poor by linking benefits with vaccination, and these benefits are not benefits offered gratis. They are really basic rights, social protection which has been granted to them.
Yes, it is social protection that has been given by the state. And so it is, at no point can the state now shrug from that responsibility. Can the state, if I can just, Mr. Srivastava, bring in Nikhil Dey also. Mr. Dey, can the state ensure that they spread awareness, they encourage people, use various other tools which are available today, you know, to make them understand the benefits of vaccine without taking away what is essentially their right?
Yeah, I completely agree, Tanvi. There are 3-4 points on which one must look at this. Firstly, there has actually been a shorter number of vaccinations than the number of people who want to get it. We had a situation right at the beginning when these vaccinations were being rolled out. Yes, there was some degree of vaccine hesitancy, but actually there was a shortage. There were lines. And as and when people started getting convinced and being told, and mainly led by young people, we saw bigger and bigger lines, even in places in rural India where there was a lot of vaccine hesitancy. And yet we had certain administrators saying in certain places, as Professor Srivastava pointed out locally, saying that, no, we will not give rations or we will not give you work in Narega, which is completely illegal, it's unconstitutional, it's unethical, and it is not wise vis-a-vis own policy. Your policy is to convince people. If they are convinced, if they see the value in it, they will come for it. And if they think that this is something that is going to threaten their lives, they will not come. They will come with some fuzzy certificate, or they will do something else and they will get their rations. Or if they don't get their rations, you're threatening their right to life in another way. Finally, this whole vaccine and the question of being able to spread it, there is a complete double standard when you come down to welfare schemes, because it is the poorest of the poor who are dependent on them. Others, whether they go to malls or don't go to malls, there are many, many choices for them. Whereas for the poor, these are schemes that are legally mandated because they are necessary for their existence. So whether it is employment under NREGA, or whether it's schools and education, or whether it is a question of getting their rations under one scheme or the other, there is the only way forward actually is to convince people, and convince people with full information.
Okay.
There is some degree of hesitancy, and even abroad, I think, Tanvi, one important point to be made is that we are assuming, most of us feel that yes, vaccinations are doing good, but we are seeing countries like Israel, like the UK, like in the West, who have had 2 doses of vaccination, and even then they are getting infected. So it is something in which we are dealing with a new kind of technology. We have to consider people as being intelligent. We have to give them full information to show them that this is something that is really useful, that is working, that is helping. And in most places, it doesn't mean that there are breakthrough infections all over the world for us to turn our eyes and to tell people, no, you will not get infected.
No, so actually, that is
us
a wrong
when
thing
they
to tell
breakthrough
anybody. That is a wrong thing to tell anybody, because, and we repeatedly highlight it, as much as we can, that even after 2 doses, you can get infected. The vaccines are not to ensure that you don't get infected. They are to ensure that it doesn't cause a fatality. They are to ensure that you remain alive and your body is able to fight it better even if you get infected. That is actually also a misnomer that the government needs to work a lot better on in terms of bringing about awareness. So actually, when I read that order, Dr. Gulresh Sheikh, I largely agreed with every other point which was there, and I will say I will even appreciate the government's intention of spreading the word, spreading awareness, even telling the ration shop guys that, when somebody comes to take food from you, please tell them, convince them about the benefits, or show them these pamphlets, or send them to the hospital. All of that is fine, but to say we will not give you food if you don't get your vaccine is not fine, Dr. Sheikh.
Tanvi, on pretext of left-leaning or on pretext of being progressive or stuff like that, we can't allow India to become Russia. We are seeing what is happening in Russia, and that was due to the vaccine hesitancy. Russia was the first country who invented vaccine. They exported, they had ample supplies for themselves, but people were not getting it. And finally, what happened? Russia is once again under threat of lockdown. And when lockdown happens, millions and millions of people lose their jobs. They go under poverty. All those upliftment job of poverty is sacrificed on pretext of a lockdown. And that time when the COVID is spreading, you have no choices other than going for lockdown. So we don't want those conditions to bring once again. And for that matter of fact, we are doing everything, and we will do everything. And when people are getting free of cost jabs, how can they deny it? And how can they
I don't think they are denying it, Dr. Gulresh Sheikh. I don't think you have the research, or I have the research to say these people who haven't been jabbed haven't got a jab because they have denied it, or they haven't got an opportunity to get the vaccine shot, firstly.
No,
or nobody has gone to them and explained to them the benefits of it. These are people who don't have access to great information on government websites, on our fancy computers and mobile phones to read this information. It's the government's responsibility to spread awareness, to tell them, and to enable that they come in. The fact that a large percentage, over 50 crore people in our country today, haven't got their vaccine shot is not because 50 crore people don't want to get the shot, Dr. Gulresh Sheikh. It is because they haven't got their turn yet to get the shot. It is because nobody's reached out to them to give them the vaccine. It's not because 50 crore people in India have said out of the 125 crore that we don't want to get the vaccine shot. So before we start start implementing these policies, we really need to see what is going on the ground. Sanket Yanagi wants to make a point. Go ahead, please.
Can I
Yes.
say something?
Article 947.
I'm coming back to you. Yes, I'll come back to you, Dr. Sheikh. Yeah.
Article 47 of the Constitution of India guarantees the right to food to an Indian citizen. And the recent report of the FAO says that 50% of the world's hungry live in India, with 200 million food insecure people in India. India, according to the report, ranks at 94th out of 107 nations on the Global Hunger Index. And in 2001, the Supreme Court has already considered this aspect of the matter as to whether right to food is a fundamental right or not. And in the case pertaining to the right to food, filed by the People's Union for Civil Liberties, the Supreme Court has said that in the larger public interest, right to food campaign must be founded. Subsequently, in 2011, the National Food Security Bill of 2011 which is popularly known as Right to Food Bill, was proposed. In 2013, the National Food Security Act of 2013 was passed and enacted by the Parliament.
Yes.
So in one or the other way, the Constitution and the constitutional courts and the Parliament has been reiterating the point that food is essential. It cannot be curtailed and it cannot be placed in an insecure way.
Yeah,
And now,
What we should do, and this is for all governments, and by the way, this also was attempted in Karnataka, in one district of Karnataka. After massive backlash, they had to withdraw this order. But it's very, very odd to me that the governments only look at the lowest strata, the most poor, the most vulnerable strata, and start imposing it on them, Mr. Day. Nobody is imposing these rules on the higher level. And again, not to be compared to going to a mall, because that's a choice, that's a luxury. Let's start implementing these rules on people getting out of their homes, rich people getting out of their homes or accessing their food in whichever manner.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's no question that something like that's a welfare scheme and a food security scheme is actually holding the poor to ransom. It's forcing it down their throat. Instead of us saying that we are giving you a right to vaccination, which is very good if we do all the arrangements there, we are turning it on its head and actually creating some kind of resistance, greater and greater resistance in the manner in which we are going about this. And you are quite right in saying we don't actually know that those figures, those people who haven't got their vaccination, why have they not got it? We know many elderly people who are unable to leave their homes for even their rations. It's a very big struggle for them to go and try and get the vaccination on that one particular day when it's there in their area, or people who are disabled. We have not yet put out that structure to reach out to everyone in every place. They are not affluent, and the affluent, we have no measure. To say not going to a mall is not a measure at all. It is not equivalence. The affluent will never be able to be forced. They will decide what they want to do. And since Mr. Gulrez has said over and over again that the problem is not whether you want to get ill or not is not the problem, you should not spread it. But it's absolutely clear that even after vaccinations are there, people
Correct.
can get the infection.
Yes,
it
yes.
can be spread.
You can
So
still
it's-
spread it. You will not even realize you are a carrier, and
Yeah,
you will
so
still
the-
be spreading it if you are not wearing your mask and not
Exactly.
following the basic hygienes and social distancing. Completely out of time. I'm going to thank all of the panelists for joining us on this story, but I think governments and local administration and bureaucrats, the government machinery, essentially, who's taking all these decisions, needs to be a lot more aware of what the ground reality is. It's also fine and grand to say, in this district, I will achieve 100%. However I do it is not the point. And let's get everybody, let's threaten them, blackmail them, push them into these lines and get them vaccinated. But have we looked at the gap that exists in terms of number of rural versus urban people who are getting access to vaccines? Have we looked at the gaps of number of rich versus poor people who've gotten access to vaccines and been vaccinated? Before you decide to take away a poor man's dinner, at least look at what the ground reality is. Convince them, spread awareness, encourage them. Can't threaten them and take away their food, for that matter. Nobody is stopping people from boarding flights if they're not vaccinated. You have to do an RT-PCR test, you can still go. Nobody is stopping anybody from entering places of worship if they have been reopened. You can still enter. But we are stopping people from accessing fuel and ration for this reason. How does that make sense? Think about it. Thank you for joining us.